Prime Field.
All right, and Hawkeye fans, buckle up. Iowa just landed its first 2027 commit, Jada Seubert. And the reaction online is already split into two camps, future cornerstone versus overhyped. So tonight, we're doing what we always do on this show. We're not arguing off vibes. We're going data first. Because when a recruit gets labeled elite this early, the only real question is, does the hype match the numbers and the evaluation? Let's start with the part people overlook. Being the first commit matters. In recruiting, the first pledge is the foundation piece. It sets the identity of the class, what the staff is targeting, what kind of player they want to build around, and honestly, what kind of momentum they're trying to generate. In Iowa, they didn't just take a good player, they took someone who instantly puts a spotlight on the class. Because right now, with Seubert as the only pledge, Iowa's 2027 class is sitting at number 7 nationally, as of January 2026. Now let's be real, it's early, and 2027 commitments are still scattered, but that's the point. When the board is mostly empty, one big chip can move you up the rankings fast, and Iowa clearly wanted that early headline. We're in this race from the start. But here's the twist. Being the first commit also means you get judged like you're the centerpiece. So the pressure isn't just on Seubert to be good, it's on her to be worth the tone-setting label. Next, the offer sheet conversation. Because if you're trying to sell this as a cornerstone recruit, you better be able to say you won a real fight. And Iowa did. Seubert chose the Hawkeyes over reported offers from Notre Dame, Michigan, Iowa State, Nebraska, Kansas, and others. That's not a small region win. That's not a no one else wanted her win. That's Iowa going into rooms with power brands and saying, no, she's ours. So why are people still skeptical? Because recruiting isn't just who offered. It's also, where is she ranked, who agrees, who doesn't, and why. Which takes us straight to the evaluation split that's fueling the whole debate. Let's talk 247 sports first, because 247 is essentially planting the flag. Seubert's 247 rating is 93, a 4-star. And in recruiting language, a 93 isn't a nice player. A 93 is projected high-impact college contributor, potentially more if development hits. Then you add the 247 sports composite score, 0.9843. And that number is doing something important. It's saying, this isn't just one evaluator being high. There's broader agreement she's top tier. Now, does that mean she's a guaranteed star? No. But it does mean Iowa didn't just grab a popular name. They grabbed a player the recruiting industry is already signaling as real. But wait, because the rankings get even spicier. Here's where the hype gets oxygen. On 247, Seubert is around number 40 nationally in the 2027 class. Think about what that implies. Out of the entire class, only 39 are rated higher. That's not good. That's upper echelon territory. And positionally, she's ranked number 4 combo guard. That is a loud evaluation. That's the industry saying, this is one of the best backcourt prospects in our class. But now let's ask the question that every smart fan should ask. If she's top 40 on one platform, why is another respected service notably lower? This is the exact fault line of the debate. Prep Girls Hoops, PGH has Seubert at number 66 nationally. So we've got a split verdict, 247, 40, PGH, 66. That's roughly a 25-spot gap. And that gap matters because it changes the label. At hash 40, you're flirting with borderline elite, the kind of player fans talk about like a future centerpiece. At number 66, you're still very strong, top at 70 in the country is serious, but the messaging is different. That's more like high-impact player, and not necessarily a class-defining superstar. So what does this split really mean? It means there's uncertainty about ceiling, not about whether she's good, she clearly is, but about how high her projection goes. And that uncertainty is exactly why some people are shouting cornerstone, while others are saying pump the brakes. Now let's get into the part that can't be ignored, the numbers on the court. As a junior, Seubert is averaging 23.5 points per game. That's pure offensive volume. That's someone who can carry possessions, get buckets, and be the focal point night after night. And it's not empty stats either. Her team is 12-3, with her leading the way. But it gets better because the all-around contributions are what separates scorer error from engine. Junior stat line, 23.5 points, 6.9 rebounds, 4.4 assists, 3.4 steals. So you're not just seeing a microwave, you're seeing activity. You're seeing disruption. You're seeing playmaking. And her sophomore numbers were even more do-it-all. 24.0 points, 4.9 rebounds, 4.8 assists, 4.3 steals. Let's translate that into plain language. If you're giving me approximately 5 assists and approximately 4 steals a night, you're not playing a one-dimensional role. You're impacting both ends, and you're doing it consistently. So if someone says, well, maybe she's just a scorer, the response is no. She's producing across categories in a way that screams versatility. But there's always a but. High school stats create the next big question. How does that translate? Now we bring in the label that pours gasoline on the conversation. Seubert is the number 1 ranked junior in Wisconsin for the class of 2027, recognized by both 247 sports and prep girls hoops. That best in state tag is powerful. It turns a player into a headline. It tells casual fans, this is the one. And Iowa recruiting Wisconsin isn't new. The Hawkeyes have a history of tapping nearby talent pools. So when Iowa grabs Wisconsin's top prospect, the buzz naturally goes, okay, this could be another major regional win. But the flip side is brutal. When you carry number 1 in your state, people don't just expect you to be solid. They expect you to be a difference maker. So the hype isn't random. It's built from strong rankings, a competitive commitment when monster production and a top in-state label. That's a real recipe. The only question is it premature to call her a cornerstone? If you want the cleanest, fairest take, Seubert is clearly a high-level prospect. The production is loud. The offer list is legit. The recruiting services agree she's top tier, just not perfectly aligned on how top. That ranking gap in number 40 versus number 66 doesn't scream fraud. It screams projection debate. And that's normal for 2027 recruits because development, competition level, physical growth, and role evolution can shift everything. So the overhyped argument isn't that she's not good. It's that some people think the label is being applied too early. Is she a future star, or just a really good high major guard? Meanwhile, the cornerstone argument is simple. If Iowa is building early around her, and she keeps stuffing stat sheets like this, then yes, she could become the face of that class. So here's the biggest takeaway. Iowa didn't just get a commit. They got a tone setter. But the evaluation split means the story isn't finished. The hype is real, and the scrutiny is real too. Now I'm throwing it to you. Is Jada Seubert a future cornerstone for Iowa? Or is the elite tag coming too fast? And if you had to bet right now, does she end up playing like a top 40 recruit? Or closer to that top 70 range? Drop your take in the comments. Take.
Prime Field.